Woo! Good morning. BizDev Morning Brew, starting off your Tuesday morning or whatever day it is that you're watching this. I know a lot of you are watching this on a recording. I've posted this on the different social media platforms, so that way everyone can get a chance to get a little bit of extra information to rock and roll with your business development. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we are here 7 a.m. Today is Tuesday, but whatever day it is, you can still use this information to help you along the way. So a lot of the things that we've talked about in the last few videos, and I do encourage you to look back so you can kind of get along the track that I'm laying down here and ride along with me on this journey to understanding the best possible ways we can navigate through the business of our business. So you've got a team, you're a solopreneur, you're a leader of a team, you're on a team, well, regardless of where you lie in the development of business, if you're a sales representative or a customer service rep, or you're a sales associate or a sales assistant, or you're an executive, founder, whatever, there are certain things that you need to be aware of in the control of the things that are uncontrollable. So I say this because I mentioned in a previous video about KPIs, and there are certain things that are measurable that can show you your performance. And there are definitely modes and ways in which you could approach your prospects, cold calling, emails, text messaging. You can spend thousands of dollars on social media ads. You can do Google searches. The sky's the limit. In today's world of marketing and business, when you're presenting a product or service, there are a lot of things you can be doing in order to get yourself in front of your customers. Now, will these things balance out to where your bottom line actually shows profit? Now, there is a interesting space to be in. So while you're doing your business development, you also need to be paying attention to the balance that is how much is being spent versus how much is being earned. And I've seen this happen numerous times in businesses where you have sales go through the roof. You're actually outpacing where you were year to year, month to month, quarter to quarter. You're looking at the numbers going, wow, we are selling enormous amounts higher than we were before. Yet, when you look at your P&L, you're going, there's holes in this ship, man. This money is being spent in ways that I have no idea. There are service fees, there are subscriptions, there are all types of different angles of spending that are just going out, even though we're bringing in an enormous amount in, and we're measuring these sales saying our performance is amazing, but there's something out of whack here. And that lies a lot within what you are aware of and what you are not aware of. And awareness is one of those fundamental things that you can work on internally, where you are working on the physical external parts of your business, and the internal is actually taking care of itself. So I want to talk about something really quick while I mention this. I'm going to share my screen. And what we're looking at here is the analytical mind, right? And yep, I'm going to get a little bit deep on you. So strap yourself in and buckle up. We mentioned this before a couple of times. I've said it in the last calls. Our conscious mind and our unconscious mind. Now, there is a consistent communication that happens between you and your unconscious mind, which exists in your body right now, that happens whether you are engaging or not. So your unconscious mind, what is it there for? Your subconscious mind, your autonomic nervous system. Now, these are your main parts of your body that help you live. Your blood flow, your heart rate, your skin temperature, all these things that You can measure through your heart rate. You can do all kinds of different things, and you can figure out your blood, your alcohol, your oxygen content of your blood, things of that, all those things. But what does that really mean? Not many of us really know. You can get an analysis done of all the internal workings of your body, and you'll have to have someone basically break down what this really means for you. However, your subconscious knows all of it. Your subconscious knows everything about how to run your body to its optimal levels and where you are optimally or not, where you're ailing, where you're healthy, how to bring in different balances to make sure that you're operating to the fullest. You, as you're on in your conscious area, in your conscious mind, are not aware of these things. You can obviously become aware and you can kind of dissect some things, but the specifics of it, that's all in your subconscious. So what else is down here? Your programs and your habits. Your programs are things that have been told to you since you were a child, and you are operating off of those awarenesses. You know, hot water is hot. You know, cold water is cold. You know, if you freeze water, it becomes hard. Things like this, you have been programmed to understand, and you know them without thinking. You don't have to decide when you turn the hot water on, if I touch this, is this going to be hot? It's something that's already programmed. It's in your subconscious. However, there are things that are habits and programs that may not be as obvious as something like that, as whether it's going to be harmful to you. Some things you may have been told that if you step on a crack, you will break your mother's back. Is that literal? I still see people not stepping on cracks. I've watched someone that I was walking with, a prospect that I was walking with, and he kept stepping over the cracks. And I said in a jest, we had already built rapport, and I said in jest, are you worried that you're going to break your mother's back? And he said, that's something that has been stuck in my mind since I was a child that I just cannot break. I still do not step on cracks. I, for one, if you ever heard of the term, don't split a pole or you will cause bad karma to come your way, I still to this day do not split poles. It's a habit that has been formed to me because at one time when I was a child with my friends, we did split a pole and we wound up having something bad happen. And that event has triggered a program in my subconscious to make me uncomfortable whenever I split a pole. So what do we do with these? Some of these little things, these programs, these habits are not serving us. And some of these programs and habits are what causes you to put holes in your boat. Remember, I mentioned earlier, you can have performance outperform, sales outperform everything that you've been doing from quarter to quarter, year to year, month to month, day to day. You can be doing better than you were on paper. And then when you look at another paper, the old dreaded P&L, which is the report card of your company, and you look at the bottom line and you realize you're not profiting based off of all these sales. Where are these holes in the boat? Well, you most likely have some habits and programs that have been programmed into your mind to keep you on a track that is making you do things that are not benefiting you currently. When you make adjustments like going through your sales cycle and making adjustments and making changes, you are adjusting and changing the habits of your company. You're adjusting the patterns and the programs of your initial settings for your company. That, my friends, has a trickle-down effect. And that does affect your personal habits. You will need to adjust some of the things that you do personally. You may need to come in earlier. You may need to take less breaks. You may need to adjust your meeting times or adjust how you present in your meetings. And these things also can attribute to your bottom line. Now, where the holes come in, you may need to adjust your spending. You may need to adjust how you are allocating your funds towards specific areas of your warehousing or your storage, or whether or not you need that extra PO box or this, that, and the other thing. There are so many things that you need to double check on while you're adjusting all of these other dials. It's departmental communications. Now, when you're a solopreneur, This means that you really need to adjust these conversations for yourself. You need to look at these areas and identify them as if they were departments. And you need to discuss with yourself or with your partner what things you need to adjust to make sure that as you turn the dials and increase your opportunities, and you start to turn the dial and you're increasing your closing rates and you're increasing your daily sales, and you're obviously making these sales cycles shorter, and you're bringing in more sales throughout the month. Now you have an influx and an increase in all of these extra sales. Now, rather than waiting until the end to start to decide how you're going to use these new funds, do it at the same time. When you start to turn these dials, you will be increasing sales. You will be increasing sales. So at that time, as you are increasing these sales, analyze where you're going to allocate funds and where you're not going to allocate funds. This is the idea when you're starting to change some of the programs and habits that are in the 95%. You'll be given the sense that you're not doing the right thing because it's not the same habit or program. However, we want to use the conscious mind, the thinking brain, and we want to break through to communicate with our subconscious and understand that we need to change some of these habits and patterns incrementally as we start changing the external habits. So you're flipping the switches on the outside. At the same time, you're going in and saying, what things do I need to do specifically myself while I am getting my sales team to turn up the dial on their opportunities, while the sales team is shortening the sales cycle? What am I going to do in my end? And as a sales representative, you are turning the dials and doing it up. So now, what am I specifically costing? What is the cost analysis of all of this effort for me as a sales representative? So I understand what I'm doing in my position that is affecting the company overall. A sales representative with this mindset will become a tremendous asset and present tremendous value. And there is where we wind up at the end of all of this. How much value do you want to bring when you're actually working on these dials and you're changing certain things about your company? When you're increasing sales and you're increasing your opportunities, and when you're starting to make incremental leaps from sales being at 100,000 to 1 million to 10 million to 100 million, what value are you going to bring or put or instill into your company as you start to climb this big ladder? So think about this as you're getting beyond the analytical mind. You're starting to dance a little bit more where it's not just about the numbers. There are feelings involved. Oh, the big F word. Feelings are involved. One of the biggest obstacles most entrepreneurs have to face is how they feel about the things that they're doing. And when you start to adjust and lose the fear of where you're going and how you're doing it, and really increment and really instill the things that are improving the value of your company, and then associating good feelings with it, you start to see a whole new change in the way that you're presenting and running either your position, your department, or your company. Okay. I hope this all makes sense to you. This is something that is a lot of books that are out there on this, and the main purpose behind wanting to introduce the thinking mind versus the autonomic nervous system is knowing that this relationship is there regardless of whether or not you really do activate or participate and activate the relationship. Your subconscious does not really care whether or not you succeed or fail. It cares about you existing, and it wants you to exist in the best way possible. And the best way possible is not necessarily the best that it possibly could be, right? Using your mind, for the 5% of your thinking mind, to consciously be aware of what things you are doing externally and how they feel and how they affect your subconscious through meditation is probably the easiest way, but also just through your actions, choosing specific actions that will incrementally change the habits and programming that has been consistently being produced throughout your body and throughout your existence. And taking that, the effects of that, and instilling it into the actions that you do externally for your business. So let me know what you think about this. Leave some comments, send me some messages, see where you lie in this framework of understanding the differences between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. And then understanding, a lot of you do meditation. In your meditations, think in this pattern, in this way. Think as when you are in this beta state, we are awake and we are communicating like this right now, and this 5%. Take a moment to really, in your meditation, think of, how do I need to communicate with my subconscious to affect X, Y, and Z pattern or X, Y, and Z program, to see how I can maximize the effects of this pattern or program on my external world, and really play with that as you develop the ability to be able to go from alpha, theta, and delta in your meditations. Then we can talk about this in a totally different conversation. However, think about these states that you're in when you're actually communicating with this 95%, and enjoy the moments that you start to discover the internal you. And once you see the effects of that, you can put those effects into actual action in your external world within your business, and you will see tremendous leaps in your scalability. Trust me on that. Scaling is all about your habits. If you can't change your habits, you will not incrementally scale, and you will not bounce higher and higher each time you go to improve your business. It's not about just the analytics. It's not just the numbers and playing with the graph. There is some internal things that you need to address in order for you to really make your mark. All right. That's enough of that. BizDev Morning Brew, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. We did have a call we were going to have today to discuss this model, but unfortunately, the call is just with me today. But I did want to address this. I didn't say unfortunately. Did I say unfortunately? No, well, at least the other person who was going to be on the call was not on the call today. They will be on the call another time. We will have a good friend of mine who wishes to talk about some specifics on the belief model, and talking about how belief can really influence your sales. That will be later on this week, I believe Thursday. So BizDev Morning Brew, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 a.m. If you want to be on the call, you can send me a message, I'll send you the link, and then we'll pick a day and a topic that we can discuss and work on the business of our business, the lifeblood of our revenue. BizDev Morning Brew. See you next time.